So this is one of the most anticipated items that's shown up here in the video. Never had a Tesla before. And what a way to kick it off. What a way to get it started. This is the new Model S Plaid. This is special. Elon is on to something, and I probably shouldn't have taken so long to get one. Man, it's a time like this. What car?
So 90s.
Anyway, this is going to be a comprehensive video. If you need a snack, if you need a drink, get it now. Buckle down, buckle in, buckle up, buckle something. Why am I angry?
No.
He's still trying. No, please. Okay, that's good. Oh my god. Oh my god. God. That's so fast.
Man.
Oh.
I didn't think you were this reckless.
I feel like just since everything was new to me, I'm gonna make it new to you as well. All right, so immediately what's different on this one is the fact that there's no latch. So this one goes straight up, maybe slightly wider. You're gonna see the rims that were selected. That was an upgrade. They're 21 inches. You have sporty tires wrapped around them. They have like a satin black, sort of in between gloss and matte finish on them. All the accents now in the modern Tesla are done in black as opposed to chrome. That for me was the modern update that was necessary. You had it on the Model Y, Model 3. Black accents on the camera over here, black trim, black handles. It's a simple, they meet and greet you. The mirrors pop out too. Now what I did on the mirrors actually is I wrapped them in gloss black. I was just trying to personalize it a little bit, but then I got thinking about it more and I was like, man, I've been making these cases. I was like, maybe we could mock up some mirror caps out of carbon. These are what we came up with. Now, there's also an option for a matte finish, but I thought with all the black accents on the outside, maybe glossy would be the way to go. Slap that on. And for me, that just flows with the paint a little bit better. As soon as I started getting this car, I was starting to think about ways to personalize it. Probably because I was liking it so much. I was like enjoying sitting there. I was just selecting to drive this car. I have other cars, but I'm getting in this car. I mean, really, it's all about the interior experience and the performance that you just get used to. And you kind of miss when you don't have it. Stupid fast, quarter mile, etc., etc. This thing is so covert. Out on the street, it looks like a family sedan. It's the fastest car in the neighborhood. This trunk, this is almost like SUV caliber trunk. I can fit 2 kids and myself hockey gear in here with one section of the seats folded down. It's a lot of cargo and it's easy to use cargo. It's like, how big is the mouth, like the entry to it? What is my approach angle? This is very usable cargo for the type of stuff I do with the sports equipment. It's power up, power down. Obviously, you can see camera sensors as well on the back. The car got tinted, so that was another key for me, made it look a little bit more special. I think it truly deserves a tint. Okay, so we're in the back now. I'm just gonna lift these up. There's a big display here in the center. This is not just for controlling things like the climate in the back. It's also capable for media. I've already had the kids with the YouTube on, with the Netflix on. A lot of the features from a software perspective are so well thought out that you end up using them and not ignoring them. Night vision and things like this, but do you actually use them, or are they buried in some menu somewhere where you like show it once and then you're kind of done with it? I didn't peel any of the plastics yet. I was saving that for the video. I like the way the app lets me individually select which seats I want to heat. Like this one is getting heated now, and I can even select the different levels, and this is prior to getting into the vehicle. I know there's a lot of vehicles you can do this with, but how easy is it? You know, Tesla is really a software company as much as they're a hardware company. And in many ways, Maybe even more so when you think about the self-driving stuff, which of course I'm gonna get to as we move through this video. So the charge port is over here, behind this reflector here. You tap there, it reveals it has a light on it. This is another thing you can control from the app as far as locking and unlocking the port, starting and stopping charging. I did that on the app. Okay, so this vehicle obviously has the yoke steering. This is a hugely controversial, hot topic item. I wasn't certain one way or the other, but I can safely say I kind of miss this thing when I don't have it. There's a novelty factor to it, but it does work. Obviously, when you're in a parking lot or something, there's gonna be a real learning curve there because, well, you're lacking curves. But when you're cruising on the highway or you're in autopilot or something like that, and you're just like barely touching it, this is such a comfortable place to rest your hands the way that they've designed it. It wasn't perfect out the gate. You had the signals, for example. After you made the turn, it wouldn't go off. You'd tap it again to turn it off. Next thing you know, like a week after having it, software update rolls out. Now it turns off. These are the types of updates where they can get user feedback and actually push this update to the car and drastically change the behavior of a certain feature to meet the criteria of the users. Again, a lot more like a software company, technology company, a smartphone company. They happen to be in automotive, but it's really the tech that sets it apart, not the turning rubber. You need the turning rubber, but you get where I'm going here. And it certainly helps that this thing is a performance monster. It even gets the performance heads from the combustion engine world interested. You got to pay attention when something's moving that fast, and moving that fast like, well, I'm gonna show you in this video. You can tell this is really what it's about. It's this cockpit. This is the thing that you really miss when you're in some other car, is sitting right here. Having this big display, having this other display here, and the yoke just completely letting you see it. Something about it feels futuristic. Something about it feels a lot like that initial iPhone moment where you have this vision of the future and you feel like you're interacting with it. And I think these influences are going to be felt across the entire industry. It's Google Maps on a 21-inch display in your car. You're never worried about nav at all. In fact, you're not worried about Android Auto at all. You're not worried about Apple CarPlay at all. Everything is right there. So your phone can very easily just drop right here. And this is 2 wireless chargers at your disposal, and it's such an obvious place to put your smartphone. The music player section can be this big, it can be this big if you want more map, or if I click up here, it can be this big and it can give me a lot more information about what I'm listening to. All right, now let me click this little button in the bottom left. This is how you interact with your car. So you can see here it's saying that I can open the front trunk. It's showing that the passenger door is open. You have options for moving the mirrors, steering wheel. The steering wheel movement is really cool. If I click steering wheel, this little toggle becomes the way to find the perfect location. It's all motorized and it's in tiny little increments. You can raise the suspension, and what's cool about that is if you're going through a drive-through or something, you raise the suspension to be at the same height as the drive-through window. It will remember that geography, it'll remember the location, and it'll automatically elevate the next time around. Same goes for bumps on the road, where you might scrape the front end or something. It can remember these things if you frequently raise your suspension at a particular location. So we can open up halfway to this spot and have access to our cup holders, but keep it clean across the top. We can also pull the cup holders back to get access to a much deeper compartment below there. And we can push this all the way back to get access to this first bin. Then I can push this portion back to get access. Once again, there's a pack of cashews already down there, sea salted from Longo's Thank You. I mean, that's the thing, like, it's big down there and you don't even have to look at it when you're not using it. It's like having an extra center console. Normally you'd only have this here, but you're getting it over here as well. Here are the settings for pedals and steering. When I first got the car, by default, the steering mode was standard. And I was kind of like, you know what? I feel like we can tighten this up. I want to feel a little bit more. Put it into sport mode, never look back. So this is a real difference maker from a settings perspective. If you like a more tactile feel with your steering, throw on the sport mode. Obviously for acceleration, we have chill, sport, and plaid. This thing has been pretty much locked in plaid. This is addictive, hitting the accelerator and going. Drag strip mode is in there. Launch mode is in there. What's in beta right now is this option for the car to remember, look at its surroundings, know how it got into a particular spot, and you not even have to press that. It'll just know, and you just hit the brake, then the accelerator, and you're off, not having to worry about it. I'm in sport mode. There's an advanced mode if you want to get even crazier between firm and soft. Ride height is also available to you from very high down to low. This is configuring the way you want the car to feel and perform. For me, it lives in sport. We can schedule our charging in here. Now, by default, Tesla leaves a little bit of the battery uncharged for the daily recharge. I'm still getting around 500 kilometers with some leftover space, which is the recommendation. But if you want to go for a road trip and get that like 520 that this thing is rated for, then you just shift that limit all the way to the top. Charging to this level will take longer, you see? Or I can go back down. I can set it in the car. I can set it in the app. I also want to mention something that I almost forgot. If you get concerned that your touchscreen might have issues and you can't put the car into drive or reverse, down here, they're really faint right now, but the icons also exist that you can tap. As far as cameras, I mean, they're huge, rear facing, side facing. I click this little button and I see more. We can obviously customize this section down here. We can look at our dash cam. There we go. This thing is monitoring the road as well as the entirety of the surroundings of the car. We have a calendar, messages. There's a theater. This is where you're going to watch Netflix, YouTube, or Twitch. And what's cool about this experience is that you have a nice sound system.
Maple syrup guy.
If you have to wait anywhere for anyone on a relatively frequent basis, you don't even mind because you're not staring at your little phone like with your neck cranked over. You're just over here watching something through the sound system. Maybe you want to watch Lou later. I don't know. It's up to you. Once you're in theater, you also have access to arcade. This is all types of games that you can play in the car. Some of these games use touch input. Others, like beach buggy racing, uses steering wheel input. But then there's games that you probably know, like Cuphead. You can pair an Xbox controller and legitimately sit here and game. Or you could just play a touch-based game like chess, even with a passenger. Oh, don't you get me started on Toy Box. So Toy Box, you can change your horn sounds. There's also this thing called tracks. You can do some beat making on here. You know, I don't know, you're chilling out late, you know, set your BPM, goof around. It's really basic, but when I was a kid, this was not basic. This was like software that you had to buy. I'm 87 years old, that's fine. But when I'm in my car, I'm just like, man, it's a time. Like this, what car? Couple other things on the steering wheel real quick. Changing lanes, signaling turns is over here. These are touch buttons. Your lights are up there. This wheel is going to control volume. This is going to control autopilot and then speed within autopilot. So once you're in autopilot, you want to go a bit faster, just scroll that up, scroll it back a little bit. Your horn is in this location and voice activation is just below that. And then you also have your biohazard defense system for filtration as well. Cleaning. All right, let's peel off this plastic that's been on here for way too long and then let's go drive this thing. That one's in there. Oh, I've been waiting a long time to do that. Now we're really ready to drive this thing. This video has been sponsored by Insta360 and the One X2, which is currently on sale for the lowest price ever. It's a 360-degree camera, 5.7K resolution, allowing you to get some absolutely wild shots and to figure out your framing later on. So if you're shooting action sequences, if you're shooting something that's time dependent, you're only gonna have one chance at it, this will capture absolutely everything. You can mount it not just to a tripod or something stationary, but also to a really cool selfie stick. And then the software will remove the stick from the footage so you don't even see it. It has a Steadicam mode, a flow state stabilization for ultra smooth video. It's waterproof up to 10 meters. It has AI editing functions. You can do all your editing right within the app on your smartphone. And you can also control it with your voice if you don't have access to it, if it's kind of far away from you on your selfie stick. You can actually trigger recordings simply with your voice. So if you want to take your video making to the next level, click the link in the description, check the promo, and pick up the Insta360 One X2. We're preparing for launch. We're launching. We're gonna launch here in a second.
God. Okay.
Your body feels the G's.
Yeah.
It'll shoot you right out of a cannon. All right, so we are getting onto the highway right now. Merging. This dash right here sort of displays everything that's going on. These different cars get identified by this car. You see, like, this SUV shows up in the screen here, and everything is oriented towards this screen. And that's one of the benefits of having this steering yoke instead of a wheel, is there's no obstruction here. Now, one of my favorite things about this car in autopilot driving is how easy it is to jump in and out of it. Like, your settings are all set up in advance in the menu system, but then if you want to toggle it on, you just click this button here, and that's it. The car's driving itself. Now, if I want to speed up, I just push this wheel forward. If I want to slow down, I pull it back. Now you can also set your follow distance, just like any type of adaptive cruise control, where it'll keep the same distance between you and the car in front. If you want to switch lanes, then you just simply use your signal indicator and the car will look for an opportunity to change lanes. You can also have a little bit more agency over it, like let this car pass and then say I want to switch lanes. It looks for a spot, can't do it yet, then it goes on its own. Mo got a kick out of that. It's constantly improving. It's constantly getting fine-tuned, and this is one of the smoothest experiences that I've had. You will have to touch the steering wheel every so often. It says, please keep your hands on the yoke, be prepared to take over at any time. So I can kind of have them like this. I can pick up a coffee, drink a coffee. I'm monitoring what's going on. So apply slight turning force to the steering yoke. It also flashes white at the top, so I barely touched it, and that's enough to re-engage and let the system know that I'm here. I'm gonna turn on autonomous here. So if you're approaching a light that is currently green, but changing to yellow or red, then you would not hit the accelerator to continue. But if it maintains its green, you tap the accelerator and you proceed through the intersection. Look at the way, see, it knows, for example, that that's a giant bus. It knows that that's a large truck. Now we're still in autopilot, and look, the car takes off on its own. It's going to still stop for the traffic light unless I use the accelerator. I touch the accelerator, just tap it to continue, and it goes through the green line and then through the lights, which it sees over here. And then I can go ahead and increase the speed. Now, one of the nice things about the yoke is if you use autopilot a lot, it's kind of a comfortable place to rest your finger or hand here anyways. It's actually a pretty sophisticated system. Now, maybe I am slightly more impressed because I haven't had experiences with the previous system, so it wasn't like I got to know it intimately. Let me just say one more thing on the autopilot front, because it's really weird. There's this experience you have owning a vehicle like this, which is a high performance vehicle, obviously very quick, Plaid, 0 to 62 seconds, whatever it happens to be. Sometimes you want to drive like that. Sometimes you want the performance, the snappiness. Other times you want to hit the button and let the car do it on its own. It's actually the best of both worlds. It's not one or the other, which was a concern of mine. I was thinking, okay, in this autonomous future, what happens to the joy of driving? And I think it's why this vehicle is so critical, because I mean, the joy is still there. I realize some people, they want to have a certain sound, they want to have a certain feel, a more mechanical feel possibly, but the exhilaration is there. If you drive this thing quickly, you're gonna feel it in your body.
No.
He's still trying. No, please.
Okay, that's good. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
God.
That's so fast.
Man.
Oh.
I didn't think you were this reckless.